All right, hello everyone. It's May the 7th. So I made a mistake. I accidentally pressed streaming earlier, so I didn't record the actual session when I solved today's problem. So it has been solved. Okay, it has been solved. I solved it already. I thought I pressed record, but I pressed stream. But I cannot do streaming right now because of stupid Google is blocking me because I just moved, so I couldn't streaming. I'm supposed to be recording, but I forgot. I pressed the wrong button, and I'm already done. So, I mean, there's nothing more to say. What we can say, we just go back to the solution I had previously, and then kind of go through how I arrived here. So, I arrived here. It's the goal is to flatten the list, right? The nested list. So because every element is going to be a nested list, so apparently the most natural way of doing this is recursion because you're solving the same subproblems over and over again. So therefore, that's the original idea is we are going to have a function called flatten, and then this is the nested list that's passing to us. So we're just going to flatten this whole thing, right? And then we're going to assign it to our self.list. So we're not going to do any yield, any real iterator. We're just going to flatten the whole thing, save it in the memory, and get it one by one. So how do we write this flatten function? So the flatten function getting past a nested list, right? That's it. So we're getting past the nested list, and then we return an actual list of integers. So we set the code. This is the result. It's going to be an array. And then we're going to go through the nested list because it's a list of nested integers, right? So we'll go through each one of them. If it is an integer already, then we just append to the results. We're done, right? If it is not an integer, then by definition, if it's not an integer, it's a list of nested integers. So it's the same as what is passed in the initiation. So we can call flatten again, right? We call flatten again on one of the elements. And this one will flatten this element, the listed nested integer that's contained within this element. And when we get that, we extend the result, basically including this list into the original list to flatten it. And then once it's all done, we return the result, which is just a list of integers. So it's good. We assign it, and then the next and has next is easy to do. All right, so that's that. And then we run it, and it give me a pretty bad result, right? It's only like 20%. I was like, okay, why is it so bad? So I tried to look into the method I used previously, which was very good. We got like 94%. So I look into it, and it looks like this. So the only difference is instead of returning, so like creating a new list every single time, what we do is we directly append the values into the global list, right? So if it's an integer, we append directly into it. Otherwise, we just call flatten. So we don't have to extend, we don't have to create a new intermediate lists. So I'm like, okay, this definitely makes sense. Well, this is faster. And I just submitted it, right? I submitted it 7 minutes ago, and it gave me 125 milliseconds. So, all right, whatever LeetCode says. So, yeah, that's that. And then this one, which is the version I did this time, it's exactly the same as I think this one back in April last year. Exactly the same. I didn't even check it. I just write it, and I compare the two. It's exactly the same. So we are on the same boat. Okay, that's it. I mean, it was my fault that I forgot to record it initially, but I went through what I was thinking, so this should be enough. And this is like the third session I had today because I have to make up a session for yesterday. I did a session today, which was pretty bad. I didn't solve it. And this is actually a session for tomorrow. But because I'm in California, the day for LeetCode ends at 5. And I cannot do 5. 5 is still too early. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift the whole thing to a day later, right? So today is still 7th right now, but I'm doing for the 8th. So tomorrow I'll be doing for the 9th. just like that. Overall, nothing changed, but it fits my schedule better. So that will be it. That will be it for all, and I will see you guys tomorrow then. Adios.